Okay guys, so now we're gonna rig the antenna. So first I'm gonna have to select the antenna geometry, remove it from that layers, turn it off. Oops, I did not remove. Here we go. Hey, why is let's see, I think it may be in the group node of this. Yep, this group node that caused it. So anyway, it has to remove as a child, so unparent. Now I can hide it. Here we go. So I totally grouped them all from the beginning. So now red car BD mesh, I'm gonna name antenna instead. So red car antenna. Here we go. Let me copy those names too, because we're gonna create joint. So now we're gonna do the same technique with cluster. So double click on edge loop, deform cluster, and on this side, this part, you can pick one of those. So I'm gonna just use how about the, yeah, that one would be fine. G, and I should zoom in a little bit. Press G to repeat the command. Repeat the command. Repeat the command. Well, come on. Here we go. G. Okay. So turn off polygons temporary. And IK, no, join, hold V, snap. Let me zoom in so that you can see on screen a little better. So snap, 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 snap. There we go. And on the outliner, look at for joint. You can delete all the cluster. We don't need it anymore. And gonna name group TNT. And the size is too big, of course. Let's bring back the polygon. Oh, still too small, too big. 0.05, 0.025. Here we go. So let's make it tinier so we can see it a little better. Okay. And now I'm gonna hide polygon again. Then this is my shortcut on the tab right here on the shelf tab, IK spine. So no auto curve, no auto parent, full span, perfect. And I can just click from the root to the end joint. I will change my root size 0.1, make it a little bigger so I can see a little better. Okay, so now we don't need to see actual IK. Let's rename that one first. IK HD. Okay, and the curve is just IK curve. Here we go. Okay, and we're gonna hide the IK, so put inside the stuff because we don't need to see it. And at the moment, we need to hide join temporary. So joints. Here we go. Curve. Right click. Choose control vertex. This time we got 7 also. So I'm gonna do one here. How about this time we'll do slightly different than the host because depends on how much you want the bend of the antenna you want it. So I think, let me show you quick. I think on the bottom should be more rigid and then started to be a little more springy toward to the tip. So in this case, I'm gonna turn off polygon here. I'm gonna add that one cluster there. You could even do two cluster, four cluster here too. So let's do it for just optimize the work, and then we're gonna do a deform cluster, and this gonna be only one alone, G, and the two on the tip will be together. Okay, so look like this. So this will be big move. Like for example, if I select that cluster, and I'm not going to rotate, I have to select them all, and if I rotate it, here we go. So this one will rotate. See, it's a big chunk. Okay, so now not to confuse you yet, let's create a controller first. I'm gonna use that controller, and I'm gonna do 90-degree, and I'm gonna move. Let me bring back the geometry. Gonna turn on move to and just hold V, snap to vertex of this. Okay, actually we should snap to joint better. Here we go. And then I need to push it out. I just want the pivot point to be right there. So let's take a look at with the car first. So I'm gonna go to component mode. Here we go. Turn that off for a moment. And I'm gonna grab these vertices. You can't double click on it. It's not like polygon. So I'm gonna have to manually see. Oh no. Try not to select the curve. Any other curve, so I won't deselect them. Oh, so I won't move other curve by accident. Okay, and I'm gonna just move these out and then bring this back. I want it to be a little like somewhere I can see, and then now I'm gonna scale it right there. Here we go. A little bigger, because if it's too small it's hard to select. So if I go to object mode, now can you see the pivot point gonna be right there? Okay, so that we can rotate at that point. Okay, so this one we're gonna call antenna CTL. Okay. All right, so how these gonna work? Well, let's phase transform first. The ideal is you want it to be able to rotate on one direction, left, forward, and backward. But you also want it to maybe rotate on, let's see, Y or X. We can make decision that we don't have to do all three axes. I mean, you could, but might be too much work, but we'll see. We will not do translate and scale at all. So, and these will go with the car. So we will have to put these under a all red car parts group. So let's do this first. So what we want to do is we want to figure it out. We're gonna animate the motion of the cluster. So it will be like this. Go forward, backward, or left and right. And you could go down and up, right? However, we are not going to animate or set the key based on position. We're gonna move all 3 dimensions with rotation command. So, and how can we do that? Well, each cluster will have to be under another group to eliminate the double transform, right? So also we can use that to do animation. How do we do that? Well, I'm gonna group this cluster to itself, and we forgot to name the cluster, so the cluster has to be naming too. So antenna cluster, that's what we need to. Okay, so each cluster will have its own group node. So I'm gonna select start it from the bottom first. Actually, it doesn't matter which one you started first. Control G, and after you Control G is a new group node. You just add that name cluster. Oh, hold on. Let me grab that. Double click the name and go to the group node, and I want to be same name. Oh, not cluster. Cluster GP. Sorry, has GP on the back. So now let's do modify center pivot. So that is try to center the pivot there. And this time I'm gonna change to, I mean, you don't have to do modify center pivot. You can just move it pivot point right there. Okay. So now if I rotate it, it will act like this. See that? Here we go. So now how can we rotate this and make that thing move also? Well, for people who did the technical direction, you might remember we did that with the spine of the human figure. So let's group this one again one more time. Group, and I'm gonna rename that cluster. Oh, here we go. Cluster group GP. Now, the pivot point, I wanted this time to be at this point. I mean, you could do right here too. It doesn't matter which. It does some point. Let's take a look at the. Let's look at this motion again. It seems like it started. It end right around there, based on the curve sculpture. The curve point, curve CV. So I would press D and move that a little bit before you snap, and I will hold V key to snap right here at the joint. Now test rotate it. Here we go. Let's try this. Let's rotate the first group. Here we go. So I think might has to, well, let's overlap. That's good. So this is the right there, right? So now where this should go, this joint, or this group node, should be belong to the first group node, so that this will be a child of that first group node. So this is how it works. I'm gonna just middle mouse the second group, drop it on top. I mean, when you drop it on top, will be a child, and see it will be under this, underneath of this GP. So when I rotate that, can you see that C follow it? But then you can go to that group node and add more secondary movement. So we're gonna do the same. Let's go back to these, the same with the last one. So select that cluster, Control G, and this time I will put it right, maybe let's do a bit overlap right there. So I mean, it could be just right here also. So it depends on how you want it to see, how do you want it to bend. I think at this point, because there's a joint there, so let's put on the joint. And if we don't like it, we can move it back here too. So press D, move it, and then I'm gonna hold V key, snap to the joint. Here we go. And now parent this under the second group. So middle mouse drag and drop to the second group, the second hierarchy of that group. And I'm gonna name that to GP. Here we go. So now this is how it works. You rotate there, you grab the second cluster and then animate more and bend more. See? So like that. Okay. So now I'm gonna select all the group node and just put 0. We are not going to animate that directly. What we're gonna do is we're gonna choose this and animate that. Okay. So now we're gonna link set driven key. So I'm gonna go to animation module and key, set driven key, open up set driven key option. Here we go. This will be a controller, so you load driver. That's the driver. And we're gonna animate only rotation X, so just remember rotation X. And now we're gonna add each group cluster right here. I just control click, load to driven. And each cluster will be setting key manually one by one at a time, or at the same time is fine. So it's gonna be rotate X also, but let's test, see if it's right. I'm gonna grab the one. Yes, so X, so that's the X. So okay, so I do like this: highlight all 3 of the driver, select locator, and set the initial key. Make sure you are on 0. Set the key. So now you're gonna use the set driven key outliner to select the object. Try not to select on screen, okay? Because sometimes you misselect object. You select some other object, and it causes not able to assign the key, and then you will get confused. So now I'm gonna start it with rotate. So I rotate X, and you could type like maybe how about 10. You don't have to do like too far, or if you like you can do 20. So I'm gonna just do 10. It's short stroke, but that's good. 10, and then now if it on 10, I'm gonna select the first one first, and then I'm gonna animate. Now when you rotate, you just rotate as much as you want it to go. So, and then you set the key, second key now, and then pick the second group and rotate as you desire. There we go. And set the key and select the last group, rotate more. Here we go. I want the bottom to be stiff, less stiff, and then really weak, so will be really springy. And set the key. So now if you test, activate the controller. Now when you rotate it back to 0, it go back. So now this time I'm gonna do a minus negative 10. Here we go. So negative 10, I'm gonna do the same. Go to one, go to select the group 1 first, and then rotate group 1. I'm gonna make it not much rotation. You can count like maybe this is 12, and then the next one will be kind of 1/3, 1.5 extra. something like that. So now set the key and click the second group, rotate. So this will be a little more. How about the first one 12, right? So about 17. Set the key. The last one go even more. Here we go. And set the key. This might be too much. Hold on. Okay. So now I can test. Here we go. Chip, 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 chip. It seems like, and then we can lock the rotation. So now what about the sideway? Oops, sorry. Hold on. I undo it. So the sideway, we're gonna put 0. Let's lock that first. Rotation X 10 to 10. So I'm gonna go to a select the controller, go to attribute editor, click on the first tab because this is translate tab, limit information, rotation. Now we know that rotate X is 10, so I'm gonna put -10 on minimum and positive 10, right? That's what we remember, if you remember. So now when I do, that's how I can rotate. So now, what about I want the motion to be like this also, left and right, or even like this way. So we could do that. So we're gonna control it. And now if you like though, you could also do just only rotate X on controller, and then you add 3 movement on one control on one attribute of the controller. You could do that too. So this time I'm gonna add more flexibility. So now we're gonna load on Y. Select Y. Select all of these and highlight Y. Exit. Make sure they're all 0. Set the first initial key. So now you will see that the rotation on the driven object has a blue color or a crayon color on the highlight on the numeric field. So I'm gonna go back to my controller by clicking on the set driven key outliner, and then on rotate Y I'm gonna press 10 again. So I'm gonna keep 10 and 10. So this is 10. So now what happened when it's 10? I want this side to rotate this way, and you might need to look at on top view this time so that you see how much you kind of rotate it. Here we go. So how about just right there, and then set the key, select number 2, a little more, set the key, and then number 3 group, here we go, and set another key. So now you go back to the controller again, and then this time you put -10. Here we go. And on -10 we're gonna do the same here. Select the group 1. We don't have to go to 0 again because it's already have a key. So I'm gonna rotate right here, and then set the key, second key now, and then group number 2, rotate a little bit more. Here we go. Just eyeballing it. Number 3, how far you want it to look like. Here we go. Actually, I'm gonna set the key. I'm gonna go back to number 2, and I'm gonna override a little more. How about that? Okay, set the key. Actually, I'm gonna go to 1. Override a little bit. Here we go. So you can override the key by just move and set the key again. So now we will get this motion. Here we go. So we have to limit the rotation of the X of the Y also. So I'm gonna put it back 0. Attribute editor, first tab. Now the Y. You can just do the same 10 and 10, and then 10, 10. Here we go. Now rotate Z. I mean, if you like, you can do that too. So, well, let's do it. So let's limit this also. We already know that we wanted to synchronize them. So -10. I press tab, enable lock to 10. Here we go. And then now I can go back here. So it's mean if I rotate Z, that's all I can do, -10. So let's set it up again. So Z, highlight Z, shift select all, and then highlight Z, rotate Z, set the key. Now can you see we have another highlight on rotate Z on the antenna group. So now go back there, and I'm gonna rotate. So let's see what, oh, my up is become negative, down is positive. So I'm gonna just do up like that, and then on the I select the group node 1. I wanted to rotate this way, correspond to the, oh, it's lucky, it's also matched with the minus, so that's good. Okay, so I think a little too much. Oh, actually it can go this way, right? So let's do it. Okay, set key, go to group 2, rotate it, set key, group 3, here we go, set key. Now when you test, here we go, and now you can go to 10 now, 10, and select the group 1, rotate Z, here we go, set the key, group number 2, rotate, set the key, group number 3, last one, here we go, set the key, and now we actually done. So now you can move all 3 directions, and let me try to move 3 directions so you can see. Here we go. So antenna kind of move freely on 3 axes. When you animate it, you probably need to animate 1 axis at a time, like rotate this way and maybe swing down a little bit, something like that. And here we go. That's it. Or even do, you know, 3-dimensional rotation. So I'm gonna put 0 back. Now we're done with this. So we're gonna have to skin, and then we have to create a little more hierarchy. So select the polygon object and shift select all the polygon object that you want it to be a skin, and then select the root, and then switch the rigging module to deformation, to deform menu, not cluster, sorry, to skin menu, bind skin, same setting, closet, join hierarchy, closet distance, and allow no allow multiple binds pods, and 3. So now the skin should follow, the surface should follow. Here we go. And all right. So I'm gonna put this back 0. Now we got to think about this. How can we make this go with the car? First, this guy need to follow the car, but don't do it yet. Just watch. If I select this guy, the controller, and then I go to a all red car parts GP, it will be a child of that. So I'm gonna select that and press P. There we go. Now when I move the car, so the controller, it will go with it. But wait a minute, how about this guy? How can we bring it with us? Well, we need extra group node or any controller, any icon. I'm gonna use locator again, create a locator, and where the position of the locator should be It doesn't matter because we are going to make this locator following the car. That's all we care about. And then we just want the whole set of these controller and the joint to go with it. So now joint are controlled by IK handle. So if the IK handle move, joint will move. The joints hierarchy here will move. Now, if you remember, the IK handle controlled by the position or deformation of the curve IK, right? So if I bring this back, select that. Let me see where's the oh no, here we go. Let me show you. So this is antenna IK HD. IK are moving by curve, the IK curve. Now the IK curve are moving or deforming by cluster, right? So it's mean to make this thing follow. Surface will follow the joint because it has been skinned to the joint. It's mean the highest hierarchy of the cluster has to follow something. However, it cannot follow this controller because controller has a keyframe using rotation to control the rotation. So it cannot be a child of that. What we can do though, we can have this to be a parent of the cluster highest group node. So let me name this call antenna. What did we call? Hold on. Let me grab the joint. Red car antenna. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna call this group node red car antenna all locator, like all group basically. So the controller will be a child of the red car antenna all locator child. So now look like this. Same, we're gonna bring this group node to be a child of the locator. So now if we grab the locator, they go with it. And also this can be animated and still function as supposed to be, right? So oops, now I have a little problem. Let me undo. We forgot to phase transform. That's easy. So let me shift P to unparent, basically. Phase transformation, modify phase it. Here we go, nice and clean now. And now we already know that we are not going to animate this controller at all. We can just hide it. We don't even need to lock them, just hide them. Just hide the attribute. So it means you cannot set the key on here. It's just a locator. So we grab these two set, drop it, middle mouse drag and drop. So now it will follow. It will also rotate because we didn't freeze the transformation. Oh no, we didn't lock. So we can even scale them if we want to, but we don't. So this guy will follow, the locator will follow the all parts, car all parts. So I'm gonna control click and press P. Now when we grab the main controller, everything will move and everything will function. So oh, by the way, I did not finish this side yet. Okay. So and now I'm gonna hide the rigging stuff. So it's mean this has to. Now this locator I can't hide with the rigging stuff because if I hide it, this is gonna be a problem. If I add, can you see my let me undo my controller would be gone. So what we can do here, we can change the local scale on the locator right there. How about 0.1? Just really tiny. So it won't be bothering our eyes or interact to us, to selection. So now I can select that joint, add into, so high. Now cluster also, let me hide geometry temporarily. Select all of these, including the IK curve. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay. So now I can show all and come back. And basically the surface will be with that red car. Yeah, here we go. And this has to float. You can actually hide this using display and high selection. Oh, sorry, you can't. My bad. Because it has a unless I hide it first and parent it after, that would work. So just leave it there. Let's make it even smaller. 0.05. 0.025. Really tight. Oh no. If we put 0.05, we might get confused. Like, what is it? You know? Okay. So that's it. To rig the antenna. There you go. And the last thing is, if you wanted to have a different color on the controller, we can. The thing is, it would be better if we are not parenting it yet, because if I change the controller color, like if I go to a first tab on the attribute editor, display, and drawing override, if I turn on enable and change the color, index color, here we go. Can you see? It looked like that. But anything that has a underneath it, let me try this one so that you can see that one doesn't have anything belong to the hierarchy, doesn't have a lower hierarchy. So any lower hierarchy will cause to have the same color. Let me get the color that I want. How about a little, avoid magenta, like magenta, because it's gonna be oh, I already did that by accident. It's gonna look like a CV point and other thing. So you wanted to avoid the color that will similar to selection, like this green. Do not use it. So here we go. Oh, hey guys. Oh, I have to correct myself. This version does not do that. That's awesome. Because can you see, even though that's group node, maybe because of that group node, I think, protecting it. Because group node is not a object. It's a transform transform node. So maybe that's why it doesn't carry color through it. So same thing as that. So that's great then. I kind of doubt it. Let me try this. This one has, oh, still have the group node protecting it too. The group all parts there, because each body group has another group. Each body mass has. Oh, so in this case, that's good then. So on the left side, I'm gonna just do red. Oh, on the right side, I'm gonna just do red color. So this is great. In the past, it will change everything. Now this one, I can just leave as is. On the side, let's do enable, and let's do, how about that color? Okay. Oh, now it does that. Can you see? So because this curve right here, so it still does, but the group node protecting protecting the color to embed it to the child. So see, this doesn't have protection, it's curved along, so it will get color. Okay, so in that case, let's see if I can override this one. This one I'm gonna go blue. Okay, good. So I still can fix that. And this one red, so let me change that one to different color. How about yellow? Okay, so and you just go in individual and then just change the color. Okay, let me make it brighter. Okay, and I think this one I'm gonna go with yellow also. Okay, that's good. So, oh, come on. Here we go. Okay, so that's how you change the color of the controller. And I can press 6, see everything is good. Alright, so that's it for rigging. I hope you enjoy rigging.